Hello, I'm here.
There you are. Okay.
Nice to see you. Sorry with the hat. My hair is such a mess.
No, 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 no. No problem. How are you?
I'm not too bad. Yeah, not too
Mm.
bad. Hard times. Where are you right now?
I'm in Vienna.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, yeah. And have you been in lockdown in London all the time?
All this time, yeah. I mean, I don't think it's so much lockdown, it's more restriction. Lockdown
Okay.
is where you can do absolutely nothing. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
been restricted, very restricted. So
Mm.
pretty hard. So I just, yeah.
How was it? How was it for you in the first, uh, as you say, restrictions? Was that more than a lockdown in last year in April or May? When did your lockdown start?
It was still, yeah, it was March last year.
Mm.
It's almost a year to
Mm.
the day. It's pretty much been the same.
Oh, is it? Mm.
Yeah, and
Mm.
people are going around, they're not really listening,
Mm.
but finally people are wearing masks on the buses, which is good
Oh,
because
okay.
before they just weren't doing it. And
Mm.
I was in Cape Town. I had to come back early.
Really?
Yeah,
Ah,
because I saw Suzanne there. Suzanne was there.
oh, I see. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. Oh, I remember now that you told. It
yeah.
feels like such a long time ago.
I
Yeah.
know. So yeah, I had to come back, sadly.
Mm.
And then when I came back on the plane, I had mask on, but
Mm.
they didn't check or anything. There was no
Oh, I
checking.
see. Yeah.
Yeah,
So, were you going to stay longer in Cape Town?
I had another 2.5 weeks, another 3 weeks,
Mm. Oh, so
sadly.
that was disappointing for you
Yeah,
to have to, yeah. With
very.
Hmm. And from there on, did you have many things cancelled? Because you're teaching all over the world. Mm.
Right. I had quite a lot of things cancelled. And the one thing that was sad about was the Galen Stop Memorial Award that I co-founded with a lady called Michiko Terada in Japan. We give out scholarships to students for international schools. So we had to cancel that. That was cancelled. Yeah. Buenos Aires cancelled. Yeah. Yorkshire Ballet Seminar cancelled. Everything just, I wrote to the people as well to say, oh, when can I come? Or we'd love you to come back, but right now there's no flights coming into our country, or all these problems
Mm.
still.
And do you teach? You teach at ballet companies, or do you still teach at schools as well?
Both. I do both. So I do companies and schools, which is nice. It
Mm.
gives me a,
Yeah.
it gives me a good, what's the word? It's diversity. Yeah, it's nice.
Mm.
Diverse.
Yeah, because I was also wondering about the ballet students now, that how they um, feel, or how do they train now in this time, especially say last year, they were then, say, the graduate year, and then they had to go on to audition and things like so. That was really a very crucial year for them.
That was really hard for them. I felt, well, I still feel terribly sorry for them. And so it's all been done via Zoom. The audition via Zoom, and the audition for summer schools via Zoom. Yeah, I mean, they've been remarkable. I've got to say to the young dancers, they have been absolutely remarkable. I'm teaching one girl I have regularly, and she's 10, only 10 years old, very talented. But she gets on and she just does it, and much better than us adults. Yeah, she just gets on with it. I mean, it's hard. It's so hard for everybody. But and I also feel very sorry for professional dancers that are about to retire, that have missed their swan song.
Oh yes, of course. It's these things that we never think about, but there's these very important things, and because everybody's affected, we're all in this together, but everybody's affected in a different way.
In different ways, absolutely.
Mm.
Yes. It's really sad. It's a shame.
Do you think these young students will, because you're much into contact with the training of that and so on, but do you think that these young dancers will um, sort of approach their ballet career in a different way?
That's a really good question. Um, I think to begin with, maybe, but once it all settles right back down, it'll be the normal way.
Yeah.
So, but I think it'll be more I think they'll be even more ambitious and more focused.
Yeah, because I wonder, because you know, if you go from ballet school into a ballet company, it's sort of the normal thing to have happened in the past. But now
Yeah.
I wonder if they think about, you know, the fact that, you know, there's a possibility that they can't get a job, or do they really want to do it? And do you think that's that thing as well?
Possibly. I mean, I know the student I'm teaching, she's gung ho for, yeah, she's on a one train all the way there, wanting to do it. So I mean, I guess some depends psychologically how mentally strong they are, and if they want to, they might question themselves a bit more, possibly. Yeah.
And David, so during, you say it was almost the same, and also during the summer it was about the same thing. But teaching wise, can you still teach one-to-one?
No.
Not.
No. I did where the restrictions were lessened, probably towards the end of summer, I did manage to do some live, a couple, about maybe 2 live classes. That's it. Yeah. And the rest is.
How do you find the Zoom teaching?
I don't like it. I mean, I'm used to it. But this is the times I really appreciate having a pianist or even somebody to do the music for me. So I'm having to stand up, sit down, stand up, just to get everything settled up, put the music on. I'm sick of the same music all the time, so I'm gonna have to buy some more music. So yeah, I mean, I'm not crazy about it, but like everything else, you try to get used to it.
Yeah.
And in a way, it's good. Yeah, in a way, it's good. It has its pluses, but the negative is having to do the music, and then you cutting out. Then it's yeah, so it's hard, and also not being able to physically be in contact is difficult. But that has come more into common teaching now, that teachers aren't allowed to be touching students. So
I was just speaking to a ballet dancer before you, and we were talking about this thing where the dancers have in a studio situation or a studio setup, they have, first of all, I think of the space, you know, that they're used to the space. But the other thing is what she also mentioned, is the energy that they get from each other in this situation, you know, and you know for yourself, for teaching at the Royal Ballet School, these children grow up together. They start their school careers together and go on, and it's the same feeling in a company as well, you know, this big family feeling, or this together feeling. And suddenly now Zoom and this you know, this isolation, how that affects them.
I think it probably does affect them, but at the same time, like I say, I think the younger society, younger youth is very resilient. And I mean, it is hard for them. They'll be looking forward to seeing their friends again, I'm sure. But yeah, it's difficult. It's a difficult one.
Yeah.
Really.
You think they're more adaptable?
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. What I miss is having structure. But even freelance, I didn't have structure. In the Royal Ballet School, I had everything was planned, so I knew what I was doing. And when I became freelance, I was like, wow, this is, oh, okay. I've got no work for a month, so I'm gonna have to make myself, you know, myself be disciplined to do things, because it's very easy just to sit back and go, all right, I'm not doing anything today. I'll just sit and watch Netflix.
Yeah. But don't you think also as a dancer, because I'm thinking many of the artists you have as artists these specific skills. So you have, like you say, you're self-motivated and you can get on with it, and almost as if I feel almost as if you are the best equipped for this time, because now you say you're used to having not that structure from being a freelance teacher. So can you see already how you can make a plan out of the situation?
I have work coming up. In fact, I should be somewhere right now, but because I'm waiting for my second vaccination, because I've had my first
Oh.
one. So once I've had my second one, I'll have a letter of essential travel, and then I'll be able to, off I go, pack my bag and off I go.
Oh,
So
okay.
I've got that goal to look forward to, although
Oh,
I don't have any date or anything, but I know it's there somewhere this year.
yeah.
So that's good. Last year was like, there's nothing. So yeah,
And
but
how?
sorry,
You can say.
carry on. I was just going to say structurally, it's pretty much the same as when I'm, in normal situations, but not for this amount of time. Because I've had time out work where I've no work for 2 months. And I'm like, oh, panicking a bit. But then I could see what was coming up. And this last year has been nothing coming up. So it, can start to get a bit depressing.
But listen, David, coming from a dancer's a time of, you were a dancer and now you're a teacher. I mean, you've done many things. You've taught also at the ballet school. So you've been in this world, this artistic world, for many years. Do you think that art is valued in the UK?
Not to the extent.
Artists?
Right. Not to the extent it should be. And I also feel the government have let the arts down greatly. I see all these things sports clubs can do, but theatre and dance and acting, it's all just been sort of brushed aside. I don't think there's enough importance. And also maybe not enough media coverage of good art. But also with, I don't know, with ballet especially, I think the best thing is live. I don't think really it comes across as well on a TV. It doesn't have the same atmosphere. Live theatre, whether it's dancing or not, live theatre's got a buzz around it because it happens at that moment. It's happening at that moment.
And it's also this energy between artist and audience, that's exchanged.
Yeah, immediately when, going back many years now, but just before I'd go on stage, I'd have the butterflies, the anxieties, and the worries. But once you go on there, you feel this great appreciation. You can't be there. It's really nice. So it's hard for the dancers and companies that are performing without any audience at all.
Yeah, that's what the musicians also say, the same thing. They need this energy from the audience, really.
Right.
But I'm thinking also that for example, the ballet world, we don't know really much about the ballet world except from what we see in movies, and that's sometimes a misrepresentation of the real thing,
Very
or
well
you
said.
read or you read something in the paper about things happening at a ballet school or something, and then everybody's up in arms and saying how cruel that is, and so there's really not anywhere a real true representation or a perception really of ballet. And also the dancers sort of just get on with their lives and they just get on with it, and they don't make a big deal out of it. But don't you think if we start really understanding more and seeing what a day more about what lives of dancers are all about, and why they do this and why they make these big sacrifices to do this art, that there would be a different appreciation for it as well,
Carry on.
No, this yeah.
That's a very good question. There have been, and they still show things in the media, life of a dancer and what's it like in a company, but it's very not often. So people forget that we've seen it. I think if there's more, I don't know, like a series of 6 episodes of something, following a certain dancer or following companies or schools and just showing their day-to-day life, what they do, get up for breakfast. But they had done films. The Royal Ballet School quite a while back now did a day in the life of the Royal Ballet School. So it has been done.
Yeah, but I mean that it's not as common, you know, it's like you really have to go and search for it to find it or to, yeah.
That's right.
And
so it's not
yeah,
constantly in the public eye.
yeah, and I'm thinking also that you know, in schools at the moment, I know the system a little bit in England, because you have these specialized schools. So you have the vocational training where you have the ballet schools and the art schools, you know, drama schools and so on.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't be a great thing when we start teaching art as a subject alongside maths and science. So for example, when children enter the school at the age of 4, there's, you know, art and start teaching everybody ballet or everybody some form of dance.
Absolutely. I think that'd be incredible. That'd be amazing to do that. And then also especially if they learn really young, male and female, the stigma which is attached to ballet, specifically ballet, would be lessened by a great deal, I'm sure. In the years, so many boys have started dancing, but they're still having difficult. There's still difficult times for them. But you're right. I think it'd be a fabulous idea if they had that, you know, throughout the education.
Yeah, I'm thinking of also dance, a way of expressing yourself, you know, and that it links really with all the arts, you know, that with painting and music and everything. And if you look at for example, children at ballet schools, you know, they do everything. They do really music and art, and they do ballet, and then how that really makes them very open-minded about many things, and how they also deal with life and how they deal with things like that.
It gives them a sense of, well, it gives them self-discipline, you know, to enjoy doing something as well. And especially in a normal school environment, if they're doing dancing and acting and art, they can maybe pop from one to the other to see what maybe suits them, you know, as well as doing all the lessons. And I do notice here, the schools don't do many hours here. They start, I think they start about 9 o'clock. Then I see them out and about, quite young ones, out and about at 10:30. Then again, I see them out and about at 12 to 1 for lunch, and then they finish at 3. So in this country, they don't do a great deal of academics, where they could be using those hours, added hours, to add exactly what you're talking about, dance and art and drama and everything.
Yeah, so that it's not a sideline, that it's really a subject, really a study, you know, part of the curriculum.
Right. I think it'd be amazing to do that.
Listen, David, did you do anything out of the ordinary over this period? Did you do any hobbies or anything you've never done before that you thought, okay, now I'm going to do it?
I in my head, yes.
Okay.
I must do this. I'm going to do it now. I mean, I've started writing my book. I've been writing a book for the last God knows how many years. I just never get down to doing it. So that's on the burner. Things are always happening, changing all the time. And I do a lot of drawing and art myself, but I'm trying to get back into that. Yeah, but nothing outrageous.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but it's still very creative, and that I find interesting. You know, that artists always keep on doing creative things. You know, like the writing, like you say, and the drawing.
I mean, what's been good for me is the nature aspect of everything, because I go out and feed my squirrels and the robins, and I just look around at nature and think how incredible nature is, that we take for granted on a day-to-day basis. I just look around and see these little animals doing incredible things, you know.
Yeah, and now we have time to do that, You know, it
Yes.
is almost as if everything just slowed down a little bit, that we notice all these things.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially not hearing the airplanes, which is
Mm.
lovely. You don't hear all that noise, especially in London. You don't hear
Yeah.
one now, but yeah.
Do you think after this there's something you take with you, you know, like you will change the way you teach, or you will do things differently?
I will appreciate it much more to be back in the studio again.
Mm.
Even guest teaching, you go into the studio and it just becomes a bit regular. But I think every time from now on, every time I walk into a studio, I'll just be so grateful that I'm there and so happy to be doing what I love doing. So yeah, there'll be that.
Well, I'm sure your students will also be happy to have you back.
I hope so.
I hope you can go back to Cape Town.
Well,
Mm. Yeah.
yeah, same here.
But what is your wish for when all this is over?
My wish is that we respect people, each other more in general.
Mm.
I think if everyone had become selfish before all of this, quite self-absorbed, I think it'd be nice if people are a bit more generous with themselves.
Mm.
But my wish is that I can just get back to normal, or
Yeah.
back to what it was like anyway, and lessons learned, I think would be
Mm.
good.
Yeah. It would be interesting to see how things, you know, how everybody do things now, because everybody is affected in a way, you know. So I think everybody's thinking about this. So what will be normal would be actually a new normal for us.
And you know, I'm right. I mean, for me, over this last year, I have decided that I do not want to retire.
Oh,
I
really?
Yeah, I don't want to retire. I'll teach to the end,
Mm.
or even death.
Wonderful.
I couldn't do it. Yeah,
Mm.
I miss the connection with people too much.
Mm.
Yeah, that'd be my wish. Carry on.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's great that you feel that way, you know, because that means that you really enjoy what you're doing, and that you.
I love doing. I mean, what's great for me now is that I see former students that I've taught in the school, and they're in companies all over the world. And I go to these companies, I'm like, oh my goodness, how fantastic to see you! And it's a lovely
Yeah.
reconnection with them, and to see how they've developed and grown as well. I love that.
Mm. Yeah, that must be amazing. How long have you
Mm.
been teaching?
I don't even know what year we're in right now, 21. I've been teaching for 25 years, over 25 years
Wow.
now. I
Mm.
did 15 years at the Royal Ballet School, 15, yeah. 16, 17, 18, 24 years. Yeah, 24 years.
Amazing. So there must be all over the world somebody you know that's
There are,
been.
there are. I go to New Zealand and there's people in the company that I have taught as students. I've gone to Lisbon, everywhere, all the companies I've been to. And even in Buenos Aires, there's a lovely dancer there. And she came up to me when I first went there 6 years ago. She said, I don't know if you remember me, I was at the Royal Ballet Summer School. So even there in Buenos Aires,
Oh my
which
goodness.
was amazing. Actually, there's a guy there as well. Yeah, so it's really nice.
Oh, David, that's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's nice for me because when I go to a company, if I haven't been to before, I always just check. I wonder if anybody's there that I know, because it just makes it a bit more relaxing for me.
Oh, yeah. Mm. Yeah, of
Yeah.
course. But that's, I mean, that's a wonderful privilege that you have, you know, that you can
I'm
think
very
as
lucky.
a
I'm very
teacher, you
lucky that
know.
yeah, I'm so lucky and privileged that I'm invited to go and teach these places. So it's great. Mm.
Yeah, but also if you think of how many dancers that now are in professional careers, that you had some sort of impact on them, you know, and uh,
I hope so.
part
I
of
think
their
so.
training. Yeah.
Right. I know some of them have gone on to teaching themselves. And
Mm.
they've said, oh, we remember this from you. And I said, be careful you don't copy any of my exercises. But yeah, for teaching, it's got to be selfless. You can't go into there thinking it's all about you, because you have to pass it on. It's all about them. It's all about the professional dancers and the students that you're teaching. So I think that's important for any young aspiring teacher to realize. You have to give up your self.
Yeah. And this is what somebody also said to me the other day, is that not all artists can teach, that teaching itself is a art, and yeah.
Completely different ball game. It's a completely different ball game. I've always wanted to teach, even before I started my career. I was always interested in it. Excuse me, but yeah, it's completely different. And knowing it's not easy, just anybody can give a class, but to teach a class is different. But you know the structure of your class, the age level you're teaching. You can't just go in and teach 10 years old and give them anything. You have to understand their body's growing and what they're capable of doing at that level.
Yeah, that's very interesting. And also from an artistic point of view, also probably find out what this person is able to give.
Yes. You see, I mean, not now for me, because I'm not there on a permanent basis, on a day-to-day basis, but you watch the development of them, and you see how they can overcome obstacles physically and mentally, which is really nice when they overcome those things.
Yeah. Well, David, this was so lovely to talk to you, and thank you so much.
Nice to talk to you.
Yeah.
Very nice to talk to you.
And I really hope that soon you are on the plane or somewhere going to teach, because I can just gather from you that this is really something you're very passionate about.
Yeah, I'm just desperate to get back in the studio. Yeah, for sure. I'm so passionate about it.
Yeah.
It's lovely to speak to you too.
Yeah.
Take care.
And have a lovely afternoon.
Yes, I will.
And I hope you come and visit us in Vienna one day.
So do I.
Really come and teach here.
Well, I know Martin.
Oh, you do?
We were at school together.
Oh, wow.
He came over in the same, he was a Prix de Lausanne winner. But back then they didn't take Prix de Lausanne winners into the Royal Ballet Company. He was a brilliant dancer. Yeah. So I'll write to Martin and ask.
Yes, that would be great. Okay, David, then we can have a coffee.
For sure. That'd be wonderful.
Okay.
Take care. Really nice to speak to you.
David. So nice to speak to you too. Bye.
Bye-bye.